Good morning, everyone. I trust that you can hear me good. Can someone confirm that, please?
Loud and clear.
Understood. Welcome, everyone, to this final conference that will conclude the EfficientFlow project. My name is Anders Berg, employed by the Swedish Maritime Administration, and has project managed this EfficientFlow project. The coming 2 hours will be divided into 2 parts, just like the project, where we had 2 different work packages. Work package number 1, port flow optimization, and work package 2, ship flow management. And before we dig into the agenda, I will, as you are aware of, you are within this Zoom tool, meeting tool, conference tool, where you are much welcome to ask any questions in the Q&A part of the screen somewhere, and we will handle them, if not during the Q&A, when we have time. So any questions, don't hesitate to write them there as you discover them. And as you can see on the screen, the focus on today's agenda will be on results and how our implemented different solutions work. As you will experience and notice yourself during the different agenda items, you will hopefully leave this seminar enlightened, and in the best case scenario, we have inspired new thoughts and ideas. Who knows, we will see. But as you all are aware of, a project is as successful as its partnership. And it has been my privilege to have spent the last couple of years working together with such professional and inspiring partners. So thank you, SAMK, Satakunta University of Applied Sciences. Thank you, first Finnish Transport Agency, who we started the project together with. Then thank you, VTS Finland, as the new organization was named. And finally, thank you, FinTraffic, the end result of a transformation journey within the EF project time. Also, thank you to Port of Gävle and Port of Rauma. And further, I would also like to mention and highlight the different companies and manufacturers of the solutions we have developed together within the project. Thank you, Wärtsilä, Navi Electro, CIQ, Uniki, and Adveto. Thank you for your patience, good work, and for understanding and delivering according to our requirement specification used in all the different procurements. And before we move into the agenda for the different speakers today, I would also like to give a final thank you to the Interreg Central Baltic program. You read our application, you approved it, and set us all on track to the results presented here today. And especially for me as a project manager, I would like to thank specifically Monica Balode of the Interreg Central Baltic program for your patience with both me and all our different tricky questions. And as you wrote in an email, innovative solutions. Thank you very much. But with no further ado, please, Captain Heikki Koivisto from SAMK, Work Package Leader of Port Flow Optimization, Work Package number 1. Take it away, Heikki.
Thank you, Anders, and a special thanks to you for taking so good care of the project that will find all our tasks in time. I will try to share my screen. Yep. So very good morning to all participants from Rauma. Actually, I'm sitting on the 4th floor of Satakunta University of Applied Sciences Rauma Maritime Campus in a simulator floor, and if there are some beep beep noises behind, it's because of they are testing this remote pilotage things here and continue again with the pilots next week. But yes, my part here is to tell a little bit about the history and then point out to the ports after that and to the future. So every project has a start, and you can see our template here, and this is added some photos here. So this is the lady who got this idea 2016, and she acted as some project manager for the first period. So we were in a financial way, we were working for 6 months always, and after 6 months they did the reporting, and then there's the bookkeeping for FLC, and then already mentioned person Monica Palode checked, and then there can be additional checks from the EU side. So I can assure you that there are not even 1 cent used without any guidance. So here's the lady who is behind this project, and after the first period, she saw that, okay, it's going so nicely to the right direction that he could hand over to Jari Mustonen, and Jari was our project manager until end of November, and I'm on the last trip. But good, so where we started 2016, it's European Maritime Day. And that was an event where we could meet the people face to face, and we had the big Namibian delegation visiting Finland for that week, and we added there also visit to this European Maritime Day, and there was the exhibitions. And when Dr. Minna was going around the stands, he met Magnus Sundström from SMA. And these two persons decided that, hey, we might have something to do together. And then we started to call after the summer holidays. SMA found the port of Gävle, we found port of Rauma, well, not big surprise. And then the Ministry of Transport came from Finland also, so that what Anders showed, then the team was full. Lot of writing work for the application, and finally we were at the stage that we could start the project. So we started 1st of March 2018, and this work package 1 for the ports ended in November last year. We got an extension for 6 months, and the work package 2 and management and communication continued then. This was because of the Corona especially. But this was our task: port call optimization, synchronization by sea traffic management. And of course, SMA has done this sea traffic management project so many years earlier. So we were leaning on their earlier information heavily when we started our part. But more or less can say roughly that SMA bought the sea part and we bought the hinterland part, and then we combine it. During the project, of course, we were looking at the current situation of the port flow optimization model, and then business model, business logic around here. We can see that the competition has opened in the ports, so that it's possible to different companies to offer their services, for example, for mooring. So then you had to react for this kind of offers. This metro map, we call it, came from SMA, from the earlier project. So we added here the hinterlands parts, so that what kind of actions are there in the port when the ship is arriving, ship has arrived, loading, unloading starts, where the cargo goes, how to get the information to the forwarders and so on. The work in the beginning was a lot of meetings with the project partners, stakeholders, the ports, so their agents, tugboat operators, pilots, terminal operators, and they were very fruitful. There were a lot of ideas how the app what we were planning should work. That was our very first idea, that all the action must be taken in the mobile application. So it's your office is in your back pocket. And then we published the procurement for the ICT tool providers, and it was very popular. If I remember right, there was 35 downloads for the documents, and finally Unikey Ltd, which was already mentioned, won the competition, and the number one rule was that it must be an open source, so anyone can continue from there with this product. And then we made the with these partners, we started to test it. It's a huge testing, and lot of things we were making new times, and let's say it was also first time when there was feedback to these timestamps senders. For example, pilotage here in Finland, pilot order sending information. So we saw that sometimes there was something missing or something like that, but together we made it much better. And finally, we had the mobile port application for port of Gävle and Rauma. So this was my part, more or less. So I like to thank everyone for the participation. And there are at the end there is this question and answers part. But now I will hand over on the other side of the bay. So our good partner from Gävle, Port of Gävle. Please, I will ask you to take the floor now.
Thank you very much, Heikki. I will soon start to share my screen, but I will start to make a presentation of myself. My name is Torbjörn Henriksson, and I will make a presentation on behalf of Port of Gävle. I have been engaged in the project since the start, was it 3 years ago, something like that. Anyway, just give me 1 second to share the screen. I hope you all can see my screen now. Good. Yes, Port of Gävle was, as Anders Berg said before or mentioned before, a partner in the project and one of 2 ports. And the presentation I will make today is actually one of the output of the project, the Port Activity app. This is actually a picture of Port of Gävle, and this picture will more or less represent all terminals in Port of Gävle. One success factor for Port of Gävle was that in the beginning of the project, we started to have some meetings with the port actors, and we call it Customer Advisory Board, just to get input into the project. And it was very, very useful for when we started to develop the application itself. And sorry, here it is. As I said, one of the outputs in the project was the Port Activity app. This is actually a mobile app that you can download for iPhones or Android mobile phones. And the idea of the app is actually to share all the times during a port call. So when a ship calls Port of Gävle, same of course in Port of Rauma, we can see all the times during the port call. And of course, we have some input into the application or port activity app. We get, as soon as a vessel is registered in maritime single windows, the vessel will be displayed in the application. We also get some AIS live information into the app. That it means that we can get some ETA automatically when the ship will arrive the port. And we also get some other information. I will come back to that, but we have a connection, API, a data connection to the pilot systems in Sweden, the Swedish Maritime Administration. And we also have a connection to the container terminal, Gillport in Port of Gävle. So it means that we will get a lot of information into the app. As you can see on the screen, it's a timeline with the ships. As soon as as I said, it's registered in maritime single windows. But we also have a sea chart, a sea map, where we can actually see the ships. So I just give you an idea of how it looks during a port call. The first thing is that as soon as a vessel is registered in maritime single windows, it pops up in the timeline, and we get the first ETA when the ship's supposed to be in Port of Gävle. At the same time, we also get the live ETA from the AIS system on board the ship. So it means that we have an automatically ETA without any input from any human being or from the ship. At the same time, we figured out during the project, that it's quite important that we can do a dead reckoning. It means that the system will calculate how out from the position of the ship, it will calculate the distance left to Port of Gävle, and then with the speed we can get another ETA just to have something to compare with. So this is when the ship is heading to Port of Gävle. Next step is actually when the ship itself arrives. Now we start to get a lot of push notice and times into the port activity app. As soon as the ship enters the outer port area of Port of Gävle, as you can see here, we get an actual time of arrival. So it means that now it's about 1 hour left until the ship is alongside. So that's one important time. And then, of course, we have a very important connection to the pilot or pilotage. So it means that we get the times when the pilot is ordered. Next time we get into the app is actually when the pilot starts or pilot is on board. So it means that we know that now the journey into the berth has started. And in Port of Gävle, we have a channel, a narrow channel called Holmutkanalen or Holmut channel. We also get a push notice or a time when it passed that channel. It means that we get an idea. Now it's maybe 30 minutes left until the ship is alongside. So this is more or less what we get before the ship is alongside. Then I continue. We will get information about when the ship is alongside. And this is the time for that one. It's actual time of arrival at the berth. We also get information in the app which berth the ship is alongside. Another very useful time is actually the estimated time of completion. It's a live estimated time of completion. We have a connection, as I mentioned, with the Gävle port container terminal, and it means that as soon as the first containers is lifted and when the last one is handled, we get a live ETC. So it means that the pilots or mooring man or whoever who is interested in it can check when the ship is supposed to be finished, or when the cargo handling is supposed to be finished. And also, of course, even though the ship is alongside, we get information about pilot when the pilot is ordered. I also have some one interesting thing during the project, and was to understand how useful will this application be for the port actors. As I said, we had a customer advisory board during the project, and the members of this customer advisory board was port actors. And actually, I received some weeks ago a few comments from 3 type of port actors, and we got some information from the operational manager of the container terminal in Port of Gävle. His name is John, and he said that he actually used the port activity app during the weekends, and it's because with the app he can even though he's free, he can sit at home and check the cargo operation and when the ships arrives, and he can also get push notifications, a signal when for instance when the ship takes when the pilot is on board, or when the ship is alongside. We got another comment from the pilots. They use the ETC, estimated time of completion, to get an idea about the changes for planned departures. Maybe the cargo operation is delayed, or something else happened, then they can check the ETC. And we also got a comment from a professional diving team that did some work at the berth, and they used the application just as a safety tool, because they got, or the project manager handling the diving project, he got push notices from the app that he prior a vessel arrival, he can get information when the ship is supposed to get alongside. So those 3 comments are just an example how the application has been used after it was launched. Yes, that's more or less what I have in my presentation, and it was a short introduction about the port activity app. But one important thing is that we work together with Port of Rauma, and now they will continue with a presentation from Port of Rauma. So I will stop to share my screen and hand over to Port of Rauma, please.
Hello from Port of Rauma. My name is Katja Kujala, and I work as a head of office here in Port of Rauma. And here's my colleague.
My name is Mika Johanen-Numminen, and I'm the administrative director of Port of Rauma. Before going to our actual topic, which is the port activity app on computer, I will show you a few slides about the Port of Rauma. This will be very short. Port of Rauma is located on the west coast of Finland and is surrounded by major cities Turku, Tampere, and Pori, and has a good railway and road connections to main Finland. We are a multi-purpose port, one of the largest public ports in Finland and the largest container port on the west coast of Finland. We have regular connections to Central and Southern Europe, United Kingdom, and East Coast of United States. Our cargo turnover is around 5 to 6 million tons per year. And we focus on containers, break bulk, ro-ro, liquid bulk, project cargo, and high and heavy loads, and dry bulk. For more information, you can visit our web pages portofrauma.com.
Thank you. Our conference topic is Rauma port activity in use. And Torbjörn told Gävle activities that those are like similar, but we will show you now shortly a few cases in use, how we use port activity here in Port of Rauma. At the moment, normally Mika Juhan is my boss, but this time he is my assistant. So let's start, assistant.
Thank you.
So this is the main page, and here you can search vessels, of course, by names. Yes, and but also which vessels are at berth. So you can see which vessels are at berth, and those are time orders, and or arriving. Many vessels in Rauma port now.
And arriving, let's see.
Just writing few letters.
Like that. Here you can see the arriving vessels on the timeline starting from the from today and going further.
Yes, and then notification. Sorry.
Yes.
Notification is very useful. Our port control, who takes care of mooring and unmooring works. And it's very usual, especially then when they are standby shift waiting at home. They can pin the vessels, and after that, they get notification directly to the mobile phone.
When you pin the vessel from this pin, it moves in front of every ship on the timeline. And pinning the vessel, you can follow the ship and get notifications to your mobile app. And if mooring crew wants to send a notification to pilot or dock or the rest of the crew waiting at home, they can push notification like this and write a message. And then send it. But because we are on live situation, I won't send it now. I will cancel this. And now everyone who has pinned the vessel get this notification.
So employers don't need to wait phone call at home when you have to go to work, because you get the notification from application. And in the same time, you can see also more important information to port control from the timestamps.
Actually, the timestamps, it was very well explained by the Port of Gävle, but I will explain some more. Timestamps are located here. This is not the mobile app, this is computer version. And when you get a timestamp and go to that, you can see from which system it is sent. So you can estimate, is it how relevant timestamp. We get timestamps from pilot, order, PDS, which is port data system, pin traffic, digit traffic system, pilot order system, and Opera system, which is cargo handling. And of course, you can get timestamps, or you get timestamps from ACE system.
Yes. Okay, that was notification. And then, assistant, let's go to the map.
She really likes this part.
Yes. Now you can see map. Port activities map is very useful, all employers, but especially to our port control. From here, they can see arriving vessels to the port, and they can make the necessary employers' researching plans. At this point, the vessel may still be far away from the port.
By pushing show all vessels, you can see the vessels that are surrounding Finland. So many of those here that it is not very useful when you plan the operations in harbor. If you push again, show ports vessels, it only shows the vessels coming to Rauma. Here you can see one. If you want to follow ambassador closure, you can of course go closer to the ship and see the ship. And then when you go to this number 11, it tells you that under that there are 11 ships that are at berth or arriving at Rauma. So I will get close.
And when the vessels arrive closer, port control can focus the arriving time and add those information to the notification. In addition, port control can see which berths are occupied and which berth the arriving vessel can go.
So you can see here the vessel name. In green color, there are the vessels, cargo vessels, and blue color, you can see pilots and tugs. So the port actors are in blue. And here you can see, of course, the three berths.
Yes, thank you. So this was basic use of Port Activity app and here in Port of Rauma, and we will develop more advanced uses for application. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, and I will hand over this to Fintraffic and Olli Soinin.
Thank you. Let's check if I can open my video here. Well, I share my screen as it tells me that I'm not allowed to. So can you see the screen now?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Olli.
Okay, some reason my camera didn't start, but I'd introduce myself first. So my name is Olli Soinin. I'm a program manager at the Fintraffic VTS. Fintraffic is a fully government-owned special assignment company in Finland who operates the fee operator VTS service. We will in the future run the national single window, but also we have parts that take care of the air traffic control,
road traffic control kind of, and same thing in the rail environment. I was asked to give a presentation about the app after the project. So let's do that. And I start from the kind of the end solution and the result, and I will go backwards towards the reasoning why this happened and what has been done. So the story of the application in this case is that it will continue in Finland as a FinTraffic port activity. So it's already has transformed. We have transformed it in a way that it utilizes the FinTraffic logos, but it has the same look and feel from the port side of view. And this is the landing page of the current application, and it can be also found from the different app stores and Google stores with the same kind of a look and feel. And the name has been changed to the port activity.fi. So what we actually did here is that we transformed the service as a SaaS service, which means that currently this one is not just for one port, it's for all the ports in Finland, and it goes in a way that if you look at the rightmost picture here, you can see we already have in this picture there's already 2 active ports, like the port of Rauma and port of Kokkola, which already both have undergoing or are utilizing this on operations daily basis. And each of the ports, if you click the port sign or the logo, you get a list of ports which you are which you are able to access. And normally, of course, people work in a one port, you only see that port and the data from that port. But there are multiple actors like pilots, truck operators, officials, authorities, who might be engaged with the different multiple ports, so they can pick and choose in which of the ports they utilize and which of the which data of which port data they are interested on that particular time. The user rights are handled by the ports, so they can decide who will get access to their view on their data. And we have this use is based on an agreement between us and the ports, and the basic use of the software is free for all the maritime ports, or actually all the ports in Finland. And we started this, we kind of launched this activity about a month ago. It was pre-announced about 4 months ago, and we already have 14 ports on board on this activity so far. Same applies with the web view. So if you in the middle, you can see the same with the web view as a port of Kokkola and Rauma, and you can choose which one you use. And now we adding more ports on this one, and we adding also kind of authority views. And we have users like Alfons Håkans who run the ducks. They have their own view of the system. But how did we come to this, and what we actually did, and how does this work? So the operational and business model of this is divided. It's kind of a co-creation, divided responsibility view. So FinTraffic VTS is actually hosting the service, providing it as a SaaS service for all the ports, and we take care of the integration of these, let's say, open and common data sources and common features to everybody. And we take care that the application is up to date and it's provided through these sources mentioned here. And we also run kind of application, I would say, customer advisory board who will look at the future development through the integrity, data protection, data security, and new feature set point of view. So it's aligned with all the kind of the overall aim. The ports themselves, they take care of the local integration and local business cases, because as every port are different, they have different business cases, different ambitions. So that's their responsibility to figure out how they want to use this and how they utilize it, how much they want out of this. They can also do local feature development, and they can make a decision if this feature is available just for them or just for all the ports. And they ports take care of the local cooperation with different actors on port. But ports can also kind of make a choice that if they want to utilize the application or they want to utilize these data sources directly from DG traffic or different interfaces as what we provide. For FinTraffic, for us, all the data that we integrate to this application are also available just in a plain data interfaces, so ports can utilize how they work, what tools they use. They are not forced to use this one. And of course, Unikey is taking care of the technical support. They are taking care of the development of the SaaS version of the solution. And there's also the open source version is available. So if the port want to use it and then make this completely their own application and utilize whomever with it, they can also choose to do that way. But why FinTraffic? Why we did this? We have a larger program called eVaula, which is like Maritime Digital Information Exchange Solution, where we proactively we are creating a layer how we share data with different ports, remote, autonomous, remote piloted actors, and even with the traditional shipping. So this is kind of our front end towards different actors in this kind of a maritime scene. And in the picture on the right side, you see these two more in a blue color. So these ETA estimation service and port activity application, those are just two kind of our solution inside this kind of a larger program, and then they have been implemented so far. And the implementation of it looks like this. So very early on, we saw that we played the role of kind of the data provider in multiple cases, as we have a vast sensor network, we have a DG traffic service for providing open source data. And on that time, we already searched, well, we have these interfaces, we will share data, but we probably will need kind of an end user solution also, at least to see the data ourselves and provide this as a solution for those who don't have their own solutions. We used to have a very old-fashioned way of providing data for ports using this kind of allied VTS workstations, which is I would say remote workstation of our own VTS system that is somewhere on the back bench of the port, and we really wanted to get rid of those. So we generated the lower layer here with VTS, FinTraffic VTS. We have interfaces from VTS system. We are just procuring an ETA service, providing this kind of estimates. And then we have this national single window port call data, and all this was provided through interfaces for ports and for this allied VTS workstation. Well, this activity solution actually came in a very right place for us, as when we were looking for a good solution for our end user solution, and using it this way was really a win-win for us. So we can use the end result of the very nice project, and then at the same time provided that to all the ports to be utilized with these data sources that we have. And that's story short. So I would say the Finnish part is ongoing, but I can at the same time announce that the port activity SaaS version for Sweden is planned to be launched during autumn months. Is it August or September? The date is not yet totally decided, but there will be a launch for the Swedish version of this same kind of a solution for Swedish ports during the autumn time. That's from my part, so back to Heikki.
Thank you very much, speakers, for your excellent presentations. And I'm already used to in this project that things happen timely. So we are exactly in the timeline and everything worked nicely. Even the technology works smoothly. So sometimes it's not so smooth, but now it's good. Okay, so I think I can see that there are some question and answer. Are there are there more ports ready to join the service? I think there were answers already from Olli. Olli told how this is widening here in Finland. It's already taken in use, and also what's going to happen in Sweden, and it's coming on fall. So I think the ports in Sweden can contact SMA or ask from Port of Gävle how they had experienced it. How this efficient flow success story on port apps will continue and be developed in each country and cross-border. There was already answers there, but for example, our university SAMK is working very closely with this application so that we can use it in our new project. We have locally in our region in Satakunta, we have logistics projects that will try to use this application to share the timestamps that you saw in Gävle and Rauma. So there are project called Alumeri. It's an intelligent sea, and Salodi, the project name. So they are just starting these projects, and this is one aspect we're going to look. And then there is Thomas asking, are the tools of port activity app based on the IS signal, or is the ship shore route exchange used for this purpose? Do you only like to take that one?
Well, quickly, I think in Port of Gävle they have solutions for just-in-time and route exchange. In Finnish side, it is part of, some of that is integrated but not really widely used, and the plan is that these functions, if there is a user need, they might be further kind of introduced there. But currently, the roadmap that we have actually is we are talking about weather sensors and things like that, more active sensor data that can help planning of at bird arrivals, and then this more advanced ETA estimates for different geolocations.
And Ulf Sive, you like to add this question?
Well, I'm only the technician here today, so please direct the question to some other representative of SMA.
Okay. So the technician didn't want to take the floor. So is it, for example, Anders? And you can open up a little bit more, for example, this just-in-time arrivals, so that how that is in the project.
Yeah, I mean, going back to the question that Tomas is asking, are the tools of PAA based on the AIS signal, or is the ship shore route exchange used for this purpose? The short answer is both, and the application is built to include both ways simultaneously. One does not exclude the other. But I usually take the ball and direct the ball to you, Torbjörn, Port of Gävle. You have an interesting initiative going on with this just-in-time procedure, right?
Yes, that's something we are in the application. There is actually a feature that vessels can they can apply for slot time. So that's something we are planning to test in the future, or actually later this year. But when it comes to the other question here, when there is a question, if you have different timestamps on ETA, which one do you choose? It's actually, as we use it in Port of Gävle, the port activity app is actually more or less a single showroom. We just show a different timestamps. And the first one coming from Maritime Single Windows is the first ETA coming from the ship. But then we can compare that one with the ARS live ETA. And the dead reckoning ETA is just a simple one, a simple calculation that actually that you can use to compare the other one. So you choose which one you like, but of course the live ETA is the most accurate one, I would say. Was that answer on that question maybe?
Actually, only I can add here a little bit. You
Yes,
can do
please.
selection of you can do it in a way that you choose to show all of the timestamps, or you can do kind of a selection between them automatically. You can say that if I have the AES timestamp, that is used, but if I have better timestamps defined by the user per port, that will be used. So there are two ways of doing it. Either you show all of them and you do your kind of a ball selection of them, or you give them different weights based on your kind of a prior knowledge.
Good. Then I saw that there was someone from Unikey also. There's a question that which port call message format are you using in the different apps? I know that there was a huge work done when these APIs were done. So if I get someone from the Unikey.
Actually, this setup, this is the technician again. This setup in the conference is only that the panelists are answering the questions.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can answer it, Heikki.
Right.
Which port call message format are you using in the different apps? And we put in the requirement specifications that two choices, and the one that got selected was the port call message format that was developed in the SDM validation project. S211, I think the name of it was or is. And yeah, that is an answer to that question.
Okay.
And that is the format with the messages that are presented in the application, as you saw during the demonstration. When it comes to this just-in-time functionality and the ship-to-shore connection, that interface is enabling the RTZ format, the ship's route format, so to say, the RTZ sending from SDM compliant or compliant vessels ETA to the port, and for the port to send a recommended time of arrival. That is done via RTZ, and the internal communication within the port cluster among the port call actors is with S211 right now.
And then we have a question that can the application be used for informing hinterland operators when the goods are ready to pick up at port, containers, semi-trailers, drivables, etc.?
Well, if Olli answers first, yes, if that process is defined, and like Finland, we have some discussions going on with the, I would say, major lumbering companies of they utilizing this on their own operations. It's just a definition how they define the timestamps and what kind of a data flows they require. So it's a showroom for time data, and if you have a source system and a customer for the data, it's pretty simple.
I can also a short answer from Porto Gävle. Yes, we have the same one in Porto Gävle, that it's possible with one feature within the app that a truck driver can search for a container number. But exactly for the moment now, it's not working because of they changed the operating system of the container terminal. But anyway, the feature is there.
Yes, and then, for example, in Rauma, we tested the route exchange with the one Swedish vessel, Baltic Pride, with the app, and it worked. So we can send the message to the Adveto ECDI screen on the bridge that your recommended time of arrival is this one, and so they can adjust the speed. So it just time arrival, and so there's one example that kind of solution is also in the app available. Now it looks like there are no more. Oh, again. Data timestamps are saved, or any other suggestion that may allow to evaluate the service provided of the app. Is it Torbjörn from Gävle first?
Okay, the first one. Yes, the data and timestamps are saved. It's possible to actually download a timesheet for each port call. So yes, that's an answer on the first one, I suppose. And the second question from Thomas is there a function in PAA port activity application or app to verify the ETA? I think you are thinking about the when a ship is when a ship applies for slot time. Yes, that's why we have actually one reason why we have the live ETA, because the ETA given by the ship, okay, we can check it with the live ETA. So that's one way to check it, and it's also included an alarm function or alarm feature that the system will check it automatically.
Thank you. And like the first questions, during the testing time, we evaluate the messages and so where we find there was something errors, and then we'll go deeper in the case why was that. So of course the when the different stakeholders in the system change their systems, it have definitely influence on the apps. So that this is a one point what they had to be followed and taken in care in a good time when, for example, in Finland we have this Portnet system in having some new formats, so it's coming years going to be taken in use. And if you
Heikki, I think we will break there. Thank you very much, all the presenters from this first session of today's EfficientFlow final conference. And before we go, I know that there was a lot of questions, but the question that I think me with the rest of the audience wonder is what does it say on your T-shirt, Heikki?
Yeah, thank you, Anders. EfficientFlow project was chosen as the champion in Finland. No, it's our ice hockey team. Rauma Lukko became the champions this year after a long time without the champions. Thank you.
Congratulations. And with that, I will invite you, well, not invite you, but offer a 5-minute leg stretcher. So we will be back here 10:05 Swedish time. And as we say in Swedish, for those 5 minutes, it's free jump and play, fri hopp och lek. See you later.
Every process can be improved to have a more efficient flow. The EfficientFlow project has improved the flow in ports and for ship sailing in the narrow central Baltic archipelagos. Today, all ship routes are managed individually, Sometimes ships need to wait close to narrow passages. By sharing the routes with all other ships, a new easy-to-use tool assists the bridge personnel to adjust speed and smoothly meet other ships where there is more room.
The biggest benefit with STN is to improve the safety in archipelago and also save fuel and emissions.
Information sharing with and within ports makes planning more efficient for all actors involved in the port call. And everybody wants an easy-to-use app with up-to-date information.
The biggest benefit for us is knowing that the operational planning is actually correct, so the vessel is actually on time. If a vessel is late, you have several hundred boxes you have to replan. But if a truck is late, you only have to reschedule one box, and it's a lot easier. The port app has affected my work by reducing a lot of stress due to me not having to make a lot of phone calls, for example, to stevedores, tugboats, and linesmen.
With the new app, it's easy and efficient to access the up-to-date information in a single window.
We pilots, we input data, timestamps to our own pilotage management system, and that system transfers all the data to this Rauma Port Activity app every minute, so it stays updated all the time.
The Gävle Port Activity app gives all actors a common view of the port call, what will start and finish when. We believe this will make the actors more efficient, and also the turnaround times of the ships in Gävle will decrease. This will in turn lead to less emissions and an overall better environmental performance.
For Tärntank, it is the possibility to slow down and arrive just in time. And then there are improvements on the shore side, which will make the transport flow more efficient.
The app has been very important, and mainly because it's gathered all the information that we collect from different places today, and we get real-time updates. I hope that this application will be spread all over the ports of Sweden, and because the more people we are that share the information, the better the app will be.
The implementation of the Port Activity app makes a difference for actors in the port of Rauma and Gävle. And any port can reuse and adapt the solution, as it is based on open source code and global standards. It is all about sharing.
Telefonera påstår att hemliga uppgifter har läckt från dem till Ryssland genom oss på Vektor.
All right, welcome back. I hope you got your leg stretched properly. We will continue part 2 with Håkan Hurlin, work package leader of that work package. Please, Håkan, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Anders. Please inform me if you can see my screen. You cannot.
I can see you, Håkan, and your background picture. Now we see EfficientFlow and the ferries.
Yes, thank you, Anders. My name is Håkan Hurlin. I have been work package leader for work package 2, the ship flow optimization work package. My background is master mariner and also piloting in those fairways on the picture that you can see. Maybe it's even me piloting that ship MS Rotterdam, not Heikki who is doing that. I don't know. So I will first start out with showing a little bit short grasp what my presentation will be about, why we actually were looking into this flow optimization within this project. And maybe more interesting, at least for me, it's how it works, how we have tested it, what benefits we see with it, and also some results from the questionnaires and some conclusions we have drawn. Then Anders will interview me and another secret person so far, and talk a little bit about the future. And please don't be shy to ask questions in the chat during my presentation. So first of all, in the Mona Lisa project, 4 concepts were developed. One of them were flow management. As you can read on the in the presentation, that one were never really, or actually not at all, tested in the STM validation project. So in a meeting in, I don't remember, maybe Berlin, I was asked, couldn't this be a good thing to test in a project? Yeah, I thought that was a very good idea, and where is a good place to do this? The partners in especially in this work package has been SMA, where I'm working, Fintraffic, who was at the start FTA, Finnish Transport Agency, and SAMK University. User group is more the users of the, we didn't really make an application, we made a kind of same implementation in several different already existing applications. So it's the users of different software programs or applications. Some of the vendors have already been mentioned by Anders, or actually all, which of course was very important. The whole project has been quite procurement heavy. Yes. So what was the approach of the project on the T2 side, as we call work package 2? We started out with use cases. Maybe I haven't mentioned it yet, but it is about sharing routes with each other. We started out with use cases. And then we took the applications. What can they do today? And what do we want to be able, the application to be able to do? And then you get some requirements. Those requirements specifications were put together and served as a solid base for the procurement. Then we had winners of the procurement, or the one who have equipment in the different locations. Development was done by software and application producers. We had, during this development, continuous progress meetings, so that we as the one who ordered it could see, get a grasp of that what we ordered was actually about to be delivered. So we didn't wait until the last day and saw that, no, this was not what we wanted. And that was tested in the factory and site acceptance tests. For that, we used the protocol, same protocol, of course, for everyone, to be able to test that it was working the way that we wanted it to work. Maybe too early to talk about challenges in the presentation, but something that we learned was maybe that we should have had some kind of sea trials period in the contracts. It's to have those factory and site acceptance tests is very good, but it's I would say both from this project and STM validation project, it's very difficult to have thought about everything in those protocols. And then the testbed started when we said that the testbed started when we started to share routes live.
and that happened about a year ago. So in block scheme way of showing something, I don't know, Anders, if you just can see, if you see my pointer, is it visible?
It is when you move it.
Yeah, okay. In the STM validation project, it was one feature was developed that the ships could share their route, broadcast their route via AIS, and to other ships that could receive it and display it in their ECDIS if they wanted to. What we quite early understood was that there you can only share 8 waypoints, 7 legs of a route. And that in both the archipelagos on the Swedish and the Finnish side, where the testbed has been going on, that's you run out of waypoints very early. So we wanted to share the entire route. So the pilot portable units is the navigation tool that the pilots bring on board. Connect them on the ship so that they get GPS and compass information and AIS information, and also the ECDIS on board EfficientFlow compatible ships, I've called them here, that they share their routes with each other, but via a route distribution service. We have called that one in EfficientFlow. We have called it EfficientFlow Hub Service. So as soon as there is an update of in the route, a new route or update of an already existing route, it's sent automatically to the route distribution service, who it's then distributing it to the concerned parties as VTS, PPUs, and also a service that I will show and mention a little bit later called ETA Information Service, ETA Information Service. One thing that at least I have, and I think most of us had was when we did this procurement and also development, user friendliness were a key factor. Otherwise, we thought it would not be used so much. I'm just showing here a screenshot from one of the navigation applications where, as long as this checkbox, those 2 checkboxes have been checked in, and that the pilot has actually in the pilot routes, the route you're sailing after or along, have a schedule attached to it, telling what speed you plan to do. Then, as soon as the pilot have open up the route and choose it for monitoring, it will automatically be shared. So this is a one-time thing to do, and also with the routes, of course, to add the schedule to it. The route is shared in a format called RTZ, as Anders was mentioning before, which was a format developed maybe a little bit already in Mona Lisa, but then more finalized in STM validation and also used there. So this is a route format. Just showing the first part of it here. It's some kind of identity of the route, what status it is in, and also, of course, there is several waypoints. And maybe the most important part, at least for EfficientFlow here, is the schedule. This schedule is automatically, at least in this application, is automatically done, and it's automatically updated. That's also one thing that we have said for the user friendliness. And also when we asked the users, in the start, we were thinking about having some kind of question. You're off your schedule, do you want to update it? But we got the most feedback we got back was, no, let it be fully automatic. Then it will happen and everyone will do it in the same way. So this is schedule showing at what time the ship or the pilot plan to be at different waypoints. And what I'm showing now is a picture of where from a receiving unit. Here is a cruise ship Mindshift inbound for Stockholm. There is a tag on the AIS Echo target. It says STM behind it. That means you can see it's sharing route. It says late 23 seconds, and compared to what? Yes, it's compared to that schedule. Maybe not exactly the schedule I just showed you, but it's compared to the schedule. Reason for having this late or early, fast or slow, or behind or ahead is that this to judge what I'm going to show now. Here is two ships, one ship eastbound, another ship westbound. What is calculated and shown here is a meeting point. This is where they will meet if the ships are traveling along their shared routes, keeping the not only the actual speed, is calculated actual speed until next waypoint, but from there on it's calculating pre-programmed speed, the one that I just showed you in the schedule. So to see how, let's say that was a question also for the port activity app a little bit, the trustworthiness of this location. If you see that a ship is 14 seconds from its schedule, I would say this is quite exact. You can use it. If it says 23 minutes, maybe you should not trust that meeting point calculation that much. What I have done here, I can't really show it live, but I have dragged Cinderella here. What is happening at the same time then is that my own ship is traveling along my own route. My own ship, I'm meaning this ship from the left side of the screen. So I can see where are we compared to each other, where will we be compared to each other along the route and in future. This picture, I have actually moved the meeting point, and when I moved the meeting point, the application will tell me what speed should I keep in average to reach that meeting point, or to meet the other ship at that meeting point. Of course, it also says here target. Why it says not applicable here is because you have reached a speed that that ship cannot do, but it can calculate if I should do something or if the other ship should do something. Of course, it's possible that both do something, but that cannot be calculated here. I mentioned in the block diagram about the ETA information service. It's a service, a web-based service that you can get a login to. So it's not like public information. It says when you pass some predefined lines, what time you are there. And those are all based on the shared route from the ship, either a ferry or that is sharing its route, or a pilot with the pilot's PPU. Here's just another screenshot of the same thing. Here's an outbound ship showing when they will be at pilot disembarkation location. So for example, here the pilot dispatcher or the pilot boat driver can say what time the ship planned to be there. So we can plan the pilot boat logistics on a quite digital way. Of course, many things might happen on the way there, but this one will automatically be updated when the automatic route schedule update happen in the application. Who have been the participants? Ferries. Tallink, Finn Lines, and Viking Line. Pilots on both sides, and VTS Stockholm and Archipelag VTS in Finland. So to put it together is actually the users of the fairway, so to speak. Of course, there are other users as leisure crafts and so on, but they have not been in the test bed at all. Where have the test bed been? Yeah, between in the fairways between Stockholm and Turku. The fairways are, I maybe should not say similar, but there are some tight places where you cannot meet or where you are not allowed to meet and where you can actually take so here is a picture, overview picture of the testbed area. And there are several places, both on the Finnish and Swedish side, where an alternative fairway is a way of avoid a meeting. The testbed, of course, when those applications has been developed and tested and approved by the project, the users need to get educated, trained, and also, of course, then I think it's very important not just to inform how you should do something in the application. It's good, or maybe even more important, to learn or know why you should be able to do this. And then I think the concept by itself, it's important to start with. We have done updates of ECDIS. Some of the ferries we put actually pilot portable units on board instead, because their ECDIS did not get updated during the project. And we have upgraded software and already existing PPU that the pilot organization on the Finnish and Swedish side has been using. Some challenges during the testbed. Small volumes for the ECDIS manufacturers, for example, maybe in one ECDIS manufacturer that was invited to participate in the project, they only have 2 ECDISes in the project, and there's a lot of development, so a lot of work for not so much resources maybe. We have also had some late deliveries depending on several different things, and of course COVID-19 have affected the testbed for sure. Like myself, had been planning to go on board the ships and travel along with them and do the training and so on, but this has only been done online, which had worked pretty well, but it would have been better to do it face to face. And not so much traffic due to COVID-19. Traffic in the fairways. What benefits have we seen, or even before the project, the goal, so to speak? Yeah, we say that you can save fuel. If you save fuel, maybe you save dollars. And if you save fuel, you will save environment as well, because if you don't burn that much fuel, you will not put it out in the environment either. Here is just a simple calculation for a ship entering to Stockholm. If the pilot already, when the pilot comes on board, are able to see that the ship will meet another ship in a place where you're not allowed to meet, in this case 2 hours and 40 minutes approximately before, then why driving fast, and then I mean, why hurry up and then wait when you can slow steam, even though this is not for days, but for 2 hours, a little bit more, then you can, in this case, you can save 3% of fuel. Not that many liters, or but many times and many ships. And a ship that maybe have a little bit more exponential fuel consumption curve than this one had. Another thing which is as important is, of course, the safety. Already today, you will know, you can find out where you will meet another ship in several different ways, just by experience, that if one ship is in one place and I am in another place, I know that I will meet them approximately somewhere. You can ask the other ship when they will be in a narrow place. But here it becomes really easy to see. You can actually where the meeting point is on this leg, you can put a alarm function so that if you meet somewhere, you can make the system to alarm for you. And this can be seen on a really, really early stage. As soon as you can see the other ship's AIS, you will be able to see the meeting point. This is just a screenshot of two ships meeting, and I know all of you can see, but this ship is coming in here drifting quite a lot. If you would have adjusted the speed earlier, maybe you don't need to go down to 7 knots and have this much drift. The larger the ship is, and the more and you have this drift, you become much wider. You take more place in the fairway. So if the meetings can be planned more earlier, and you can have a more smooth ride and avoid meeting in slow speeds. We have done a questionnaire to the users, online questionnaire where 34 navigators and pilots. Navigators, I mean, it might be captains, pilot officers, whoever going officers of the ferries, and state pilots. And also we have sent this questionnaire or invited VTS operators to answer the questionnaire. I will just scroll through these pictures quite quickly. Here is a view of what positions they have had, the one who have answered. We did not do any distinction between the pilot officers and pilots. One challenge has been how long time did they actually be able to use it?
Håkan,
yes.
Can I suggest that we refer to the reports when it comes to this questionnaire results to speed up a little bit?
Yes. I will just show some pictures. Here you have left is positive, right is negative. Make your own, how to say, judgment of this. So mostly positive results. One outcome that we have done in the data collection, where we collected all the data, collected all the artifacts that has been shared, is that this is just showing how long time ahead of the meeting occasion in a place where you don't want to meet, will you be able to have that information. Maybe 14 hours before a meeting occasion in a narrow sound, you don't really do anything about it that early, but the information is available, can be available that early, and the earlier you have the information, the less you have to slow down, and if you do over a longer time, you can save more fuel. I skipped this picture, and Anders, the floor is yours.
Yes, and as Håkan started his presentation, we were to introduce a secret guest for today's conference, and I'm happy to invite Johan to the stage. Johan Berggren, can you hear me, or can we hear you? We can see you at least.
Oh, I also hope you can hear me. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Johan. All right, let's start with an introduction. Who are you, and what has been your role in this project, Johan?
I am pilot in Stockholm, and I have been doing the test of the program in reality.
Understood. Interesting. And the same question for you, Håkan, for those who didn't hear you in the beginning of your presentation. What has been your role?
Can you please repeat the question, Anders, sorry.
Yeah, no problem, Håkan. Yeah, same question for you. Introduce yourself, your role quickly for if someone missed that earlier.
My role in the project has been work package leader for work package 2, ship flow optimization.
Understood. And Johan?
Yes.
As you selfly described, you were one of the users in the testbed. What would you say is the best advantage with this new EfficientFlow functionality that you have experienced in your real life work situation?
It's a little bit sad to say, but our traffic had been dropped so much during the corona, so I haven't had time enough to find out the really good thing, or the really good thing I already have seen. That is a good help to see where I can meet the oncoming ships. And for me, that is safety. That is the most important. Even if I can help to save fuel and the environment, that is good, but the safety is in the first room.
Understood, and I agree. Håkan, based on your earlier experience as a pilot, do you want to fill in anything on Johan answer?
What I want to fill in is that I think it's important where we reached with the user friendliness is a great outcome of this project, and I think we have got some feedback about that as well.
And Johan, as I guess the audience are well aware of, there is always risks and challenges in connection to introducing new stuff, new technology. What would you say is the main risk and challenges with this new EfficientFlow functionality?
Yeah, that is always a risk with a new system before I learn the system, so I can use it on the right way and how to operate it and how I can trust the system. So far, when I have used it, it's very friendly to work with, as Håkan say.
That's good, and that comes also back to or down to training in a sense. Perhaps you can elaborate a little bit on that, Håkan, how we did that with the training procedure for the end users during a pandemic.
Yes, we did. How we organized that was in the way that we first of all made a screen recording of how to use the system that were available in YouTube for the users, and the users were called to online meetings, trainings, sessions, which I led, and they were asked to have seen this video on beforehand, but there we could more on a live, almost live way see how things were working.
Understood. Thank you, Håkan. And those videos will still be on YouTube for anyone who is interested. And Johan, based on your role and user, what do you identify as the possible next steps when it comes to meeting point calculations? I'm talking about improvements or changes if needed. What's your opinion on that?
All program can be better. That is, I don't know any program from the beginning who is completed. Everything can be gain better and so on, how to use them. And if I have, if you ask me 1 year ahead, maybe I can answer better on it when we had more traffic. So far, it's very good. It's easy to handle, and that is my best.
Understood, Johan. Thank you for that. Håkan, want to fill in before we close this interview session of this conference?
Yeah, how I want to, what I foresee or want to do in as a not prolongation of the project, but is to make this at least to start with Sweden-wide. So far, this has only been used by the Stockholm pilots, but I think it can be really useful in all other areas as well.
Yeah, I agree. And before we get to that work, could you please introduce us, Håkan, to the next agenda item, the future? What happens next? What do you see in your I should have researched this before, but the spåkula when it comes to this functionality. And thank you, Johan, also very much appreciate your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's in the crystal ball?
Thank you, Ulf. What's in the crystal ball?
That's a question only Ulf can answer because he have to smash his crystal globe to see that. What I see in the future is that what we have done here, which we have had before our eyes during the whole project, is that this should not maybe stop here, or it should not stop here. We had made, as I said before, requirement specifications. We have made the test protocols that can be used by others. Those will be publicly available. We don't have the information today exactly where they will be. They will be on the STM website, but exactly how and when they will end up there, not yet decided. I foresee that whatever can be used in the archipelago can be used in rivers, canals, channels, where you have meeting restrictions, or not only maybe meeting restrictions, but also locks, bridges passing over the river that needs coordination between shipping and land transport. And as a last bullet point there, use results from the EF project. They are freely available. Not the source code of the softwares, of course, but whatever we use to order those softwares are freely available. One more thing that we did not do in the EfficientFlow project, what has been called roaming between areas, since we one EfficientFlow hub service, is that this is not a metro map maybe as was shown before, but that we make it a little bit not so centralized, that you have a EfficientFlow hub service for each VTS area or pilot area, and that you hand over a ship from one to another area. Maybe a little bit same thing as when you're talking on the cell phone. You don't have to hang up when you pass a coverage share from one antenna to another one. You automatically are handed over. And I put a question mark behind the next bullet point, future use cases. I think that's for the audience to think about. Thank you, Anders.
Thank you, Håkan. And can you please stop sharing your screen, and I will share mine instead for the next part of today's conference, where we will move to questions and hopefully answers. And I think you need to stop share your screen before I can share mine, Håkan. Thank you. All right, now it seems like I have lost the chat window, so I can't see that. That's not good. Ulf, help me. I can't find the chat window, seeing the questions.
Okay.
I only see... there it is. Now I see it. Perfect.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Always good to have you as a backup, Ulf. And the first question from John Morten Klingsheim. And thanks for the presentation, Håkan. I agree with that. It was very good to see you where you are on this testing of route exchange. And this is a question for you, Håkan, I guess. Did you discuss about how to give trust on the information if route shared with port operators and others? Did the receiver always trusted the route received?
Thank you, John Morten, for your politeness. I would say that when it comes to port actors, since the T2 part of this project, we're not focusing that much with with the porch. It was the ETA IS service, ETA information service I showed was like an ad hoc service. But what we did think about was, which I showed in the presentation, was the trustworthiness of the meeting point, which also is based on the data what is shared. And there we not invented, but we choose to put this if a ship is late or not, to be able that we started out with should we have different colors of the meeting point depending on how accurate it is and so on. And also I got questions from users that or statements that or then this depends on how accurate the other ships' routes are. Yeah, it does, and it also depends on how accurate your route is. But we have thought about it, and at least in the navigation part of this work package, we have tried to take height for or solve the problem as good as it can get solved. I hope that was an answer to your question, John Martin.
If not, you are more than welcome to type something else to continue the discussion. There is no more questions visible right now, but Håkan, what would you say is what have you learned from leading one of the work packages in the EfficientFlow project? What do you take with you for the future? Could be a result, it could be something that you learned that you didn't know before, anything. A very open question.
Yes, what I have learned, apart from the technical parts, is that in a project like this, it's very important to have a plan, but I think it's even more important to be flexible using the plan, and also very important to have a backup if plan A doesn't work. You need to have a plan B already from the beginning. I think I inherited that from my earlier life at sea. So I think it's my main learning.
Yeah, and John Morten wrote again, thanked for our answer and agreeing on use of colors to give the user an idea of the quality. Yep. So that is a dot in that discussion, I guess. And main challenge, Håkan, what has been the most difficult part as you see it in what we have been doing?
COVID-19.
COVID-19, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe I already knew that answer back in my head. And it's always easy as a project manager to ask a leading question when like this one I'm going to ask now, but I feel confident in asking it. But what would you say is the success factor within this project as you see it?
I would say the cross-border cooperation, working together with even though Finland and Sweden are very close to each other, I think we have different ways of solving problems, which we have discussed during our meetings. I will not tell all the things about it, but for sure, I think that's good. I have my previous career, I've been working with ships or with people from 65 countries on the same ship, and it's really good that you get different views of the same problem, and I think that's a good way of solving problems.
Yeah, good answer, Håkan, and I agree with you on that. We got a question from an anonymous attendee. Is it possible to monitor multiple ships at once in the route sharing project?
Yes, it is. I have just been showing 2 ships, but if I'm in my PPU, I have my route. If I will meet 6 ships, I will have 6 meeting points presented along the route with the name of the ship beside the meeting point. So yes, it's possible.
Understood. Anyone from the rest of the panel present who want to fill in on anything or ask any question or see something that needs to be clarified before I conclude today's seminar? Or other questions from the audience, of course. No, thank you very much, Håkan and Johan, for this part of the conference. And a little bit conclusion then. This is the area where we have been implemented our project activities, and the Baltic Sea region is dependent on efficient transport solutions all year around. When we, back in the days, a couple of years ago, designed the EfficientFlow project, we identified a need to improve the quality of maritime transport in order to optimize the flow of passengers and goods and the information sharing that enable it. And we clearly saw already then the possibilities for just-in-time arrivals and departures. And also, when we designed the project, not all the actors in ports were communicating with each other in a systematic way, nor did they take advantage of digital tools in or for information exchange. The coordination of port calls was carried out manually. This could or would increase the risk for misunderstanding, leading to longer lead times, inefficiencies, and unnecessary administrative burden. Any unexpected event or situation could cause delays and increased waiting times on that end as well. And additionally, the management of the vessel traffic in the fairways of the area Stockholm and Turku was done mainly by voice communication back in the days before EfficientFlow. Automated information exchange between ships and shore centers will ensure efficient traffic flow and enhance the safety of vessel traffic. And based on all the presenters presenting today, I feel very much confident to express that we have delivered solid results in the form of implemented new solutions, both in the form of new ICT tools and also updating existing systems with new functionality. But at the same time, as you are all aware of, every journey begins with a first step. And we are aware that this is to be seen as the first step of a journey that hopefully will spread across the rest of the Baltic Sea region and later around the globe. I am glad to have been able to take that step together with all the different EfficientFlow partners, target groups, and of course the Interreg Central Baltic program. Thank you very much for today. I will give you 10 minutes extra today before we had our original end time. But finally, if you want to receive any more information, get your hands on all the documentation and have trouble to finding that documentation on our websites, do not hesitate to contact me at any time. And with that, I wish you, first of all, a nice weekend, and second, a warm and healthy summer. All the best. Bye-bye.
Is it still possible to open your cameras and mic so I can take final print screen, which I forgot in the very beginning?
Yeah, you should have been faster, Heikki, because
I said it in the chat, but you know, people were going on the lunch already. Yeah. But we have some.
Yeah.
Johan and Ulf, you should be somewhere on the line with the new haircut. Yes, good. Thank you. You made it for us.
We have Ari here also.
Good, Ari. Yes, and only was not visible, so I can double this head. So, so we have some. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. All technicians worked nicely and everything went smoothly.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oliko siellä Sampista muitakin?
Det där är en Chromebook. Det där är en Chromebook. Det där är en Chromebook.
reklam kom upp där, Ulf, eller? Ulf, du kan stänga av där, det är inga kvar längre. Somnar nästan här. Och du är på mute också. Fortfarande på mute. There you are.
Hallå!
Hello.
Det innebär att musiken med Hard Rock Hallelujah och allt sånt gick hem och hördes.
Jajamensan, definitivt.
Gött.
Stort tack för hjälpen, Ulf. Det här styr upp redigt bra. Alltså. Det blir superbra. Ja, thank you, Olli. Thank you, Olli.
Ja, nej, men vi måste lämna rummet för Kajsa ska dra igång nästa.
Japp. Stort tack, Ulf. Vi hörs.
Nu ska jag sluta spela in här också.
Gör det.
Ja, tack.